here. We are here and we are excited. We are back, baby. And it is back to school season. And whether you have kids or not, it kind of feels like, we're starting a new season. And I'm so happy that we're back for season 2. And I feel like we decided that we were gonna, those TikTok videos that are like, what's in your bag? Like, what can't you live without? And that's essentially what we're doing for, our communities, our audience today with what's in your backpack. So I'm excited to have Ginny and Lawrence back for season 2.
Yay!
Welcome back, everybody. We've missed you all over the summer. We're glad that you're back. We are back to school, and it seems that school is back to us, or maybe it never left. I'm excited to be back with my 2 favorite people. I think there's some goodies in our backpack for this episode. Excited to get started. Glad to be back with you all.
I remember what a big deal it was to get your backpack if you got a new one to start the school year. And I remember in college, one of the essays I wrote was about this metaphor of like being able to carry the brown leather professors, like that briefcase. And so I think like the metaphor of backpacks and education, it sticks with us for so long. And so I'm very excited to think about mine backpack for this year. That's actually honestly not new. It's getting a little ragged, but we're going with it.
I keep mine in tip-top shape or else I get a new one.
That's the most Melina thing I've ever heard.
Right? I just want to try this out for size, but keeping with the third rail theme before we jump into those backpacks. What's the live wire in your lives right now?
Ooh, there's a lot.
I know. In each of our lives, I'm sure.
I feel like Chris Rock. I have had it with selective outrage. No, I'm not going to go across the Oscar stage and slap anybody, but sometimes, just sometimes, I want to haul off the selective outrage about demanding that you get to say exactly what you want to say and that people can't respond the ways they choose to respond. I feel like in a free society, if I let you say whatever you want to say, you should let me respond the way I want to respond. It's giving adult and petulance. That's what's grinding my gears right now. Peter Griffin.
The apathy of privilege, like the people who just aren't even talking about what's going on in our world. Like, who are you? Like, what are you trying to protect yourself? Because you're not protected. Then you want to go on about your life. And I think particularly like thinking about the impact of this on children who don't understand what's going on and don't have the context. And so like, let's be real about this. And I've just had it with people acting like the world's okay.
Yeah. I think my live wire right now, again, there's just like so much I could pick. And I think that right now, I would like to take some microphones away from men. Sorry, Lawrence. Sorry, audience. But, I have a group chat and one member of my group chat is always like, we need plumbers. We don't need these many podcasters out in the world. And I couldn't agree more with that sentiment right now for multiple reasons. I just think that we're passing the mic to folks that actually don't have any context, have any expertise. Right? Like my demographic is the most educated in the United States of America. And it's all over t-shirts and stickers. Listen up, Black women, but everyone refuses to do so. So I think right now my live wire is like every time I see a new male podcaster, I think before I jumped on this call, I saw Tiki Barber. And I was like, and he was like, I don't try to jump into politics often. And I was like, well, then don't, because I don't jump into football. So that's my live wire right now. Thank you for indulging me with that question. So I want to jump right in to what's in our backpacks this year. I know we had lots to say in our previous conversations about what's in there. And I want to talk about it because I think it reveals what's in these backpacks reveals the larger moment that we're living in right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling it viscerally as a parent. And I also think about it artistically. For our family, what's in all of my children's backpacks, 8th grade, 9th grade, kindergarten, and 3rd grade, is a healthy dose in a big Ziploc bag of what we not gonna do is. Feel like I should give you some examples. Over the summer, they talked about the reinstituting of the presidential fitness test.
Uh-huh.
No problem in this household. My last recorded bench PR was 365. All of my kids are in super awesome shape. I just find it offensive that the presidential fitness test is for a president who isn't fit. That's beyond the point. And I've seen those peak headset pull-ups. But the idea is it's a gateway drug to getting more military signups. So for my son who's starting high school, I am telling him, apprising him that the presidential fitness test is going to be on the way. Do it, crush it, make every other kid in your class feel inadequate, because that's what we're good at doing. But don't you dare sign anything from any military recruiter without me.
Uh-huh.
Second example, for my daughter who's in 8th grade, they're doing science classes. And as a matter of equity, I have long been a supporter of doing homework in school. You don't know what resources some kids have at home, so you make most resources available at school. That's equitable and it sounds good, except the partnership with parents, helping to inform what my children know, helping to beat back misinformation at school. What you're not going to do is fortify my kids in your four walls with the opportunity, without the opportunity to have it informed, not just by parents, but by Black parents. So it has me a little counterintuitive on the idea of all in-school projects, bereft of some of the support academically and culturally that my Black children need at home. So Alexander's, a fresh bag of what we not going to do. I hope to serve it all year long, hot and fresh.
I love that. But I mean, it's good practice to remind our kids that they shouldn't be signing anything. Like, yes, and, yes, they shouldn't be signing anything from the military, and they shouldn't be signing anything, period. Right? Like, I know you both know that credit card companies are always on college campuses.
Uh-huh.
Hook and sinker, getting kids into debt real young. That's both are wild, both the debt, both the military. I heard somewhere that they're using all of these layoffs, these rifts for military recruitment.
Well, when you look at all of these job fairs with ICE, where you're getting, what is it, a $50,000 bonus, your college loans are being
Yeah.
forgiven, and it's
Mhm.
starting at $150,000 a year. Like,
No previous experience, no
Nope.
education needed.
nope.
Yep.
And
I
that's
totally
not
agree.
a bonus, that's a bounty.
Ooh, fire. Love it. Ooh, I think I want to piggyback off what you said and tell you what's in a lot of children's backpacks this year, Ginny, because these kidnappings are happening all over the country at schools. I'm sure you all have seen the news, at graduations, at bus stops. They're even showing up at your kids' practices and games. And I just know a lot of folks have started, even last year, to send their kids to school with their passports, like a copy of their passport in their backpacks to prove that they are citizens of the United States and or born in the United States. Because it's not enough to be a citizen, right?
Mhm.
Because you can be a naturalized citizen at this point and still be in a concentration camp somewhere or in Sudan or somewhere you've never been or spoken the language. But like, people are for real sending any kid who looks Black or brown or has an accent or who has a parent that is Black or brown that has an accent to school with a copy of, their passport in their book bag, which I think speaks to the erosion of our rights in this country and specifically, for our babies. Like, these are kids going to school having to worry about this. And I was speaking to a practitioner out in California, and she was talking to me about the rates at which children are not going to school. They're hiding at home now. They're hunkering down. it's like lockdown at their house because they're so scared that they're going to be kidnapped and deported to a country they've never been to sometimes and do not know a soul.
Yeah, it's also happening in the college access, college preparation space. As I travel the country doing various college recruiting activities, a lot of students in immigrant communities where they would go out to a college fair, go out to a college night, learn essay writing, financial aid. They're not going out as institutions. We're trying to respond with virtual options to the extent that it can be, but it's already an inequity in terms of access that has nothing to do with being determined, motivated, or having any grit. It has everything to do with self-preservation. Sad state of affairs.
Yeah, and I think of those backpacks on those college campuses. And number one, the reduction of them, not because we hit the admissions cliff that we knew was coming, but here in New Hampshire, uh, they just stopped programming for low-income students in New Hampshire because it might target underrepresented communities, specifically Black and Brown communities. So all of the young people in New Hampshire have lost the primary program designed to help them gain access to college. And I was reading one of the statements of the Attorney General for organizations that receive federal funding in order to come into alignment with executive orders. And that came out on July 29th. And some of the things that you're not allowed to have demographic data on is geographic areas. You're not allowed to say underserved. You're not, and so the language that is very much intended, we know what it's for, but it's affecting everyone. And that's why the apathy gets me so much. But in addition to that, I hope they're carrying real information in their backpacks on this campus because the campuses are being so silenced. And I think about what that means when I'm working with 17 to 25-year-olds on a daily basis. Like, what am I putting in their backpack so that I know that they have actual information they need. And that, more importantly, they have the skills to use that. And that is, I do get to work with 17 to 25-year-olds every day. And we actually, where I work, give them a backpack, which makes me smile because it's a part of like being who we are together. But when they're on those college campuses, teachers can't teach. Like, this is
Right.
the thing that gets me right now is the utter erosion of education and the ability to actually do what it means to teach.
Yeah. It is folks aren't able to teach, right? In many instances, like we talked about, kids aren't able to learn for various reasons. And, as we think about like what's in the backpack, what do you think this year is not in the backpack, whether it's literally or figuratively?
I'm gonna jump on that. Food. I think that there is a crisis of food with children, and because of reduction in lunch programs, we saw a couple states do free lunch for all students, and then we saw a lot of states lose a lot of funding for that. In
Uh,
addition to that, with the current economic meltdown, honestly, and the prices for basic goods going up, but specifically the grocery prices going up, I'm really worried about our kids not having food in their backpacks.
Yeah, Jenny, I feel you on that. If I took it from a values perspective, what's not going in the bag, it's in my bag till the death of me. But courage. We're going to have a really difficult time because we're living history right now. We're going to have a really difficult time explaining this moment in American history to our kids. So, adults, mom, dad, aunts, whoever, the president is an internet troll and has made up words and threatened you with executive orders on Twitter, and half of them aren't real things, and he threatened your purse strings. So in the interim, you capitulated, swallowed your pride, and bowed, all the while telling me how important my voice was, all the while telling me how important courage was, all the while telling me how important fortitude was, to the death of me and the death of my livelihood. I can't. It's one of the pieces of solace that I take in my own work regardless of where I work. I can never comment on the fortitude, the wherewithal of my employer, but people who know me, and I'm not going to stand on my tongue for anyone. What I think is going to be very difficult is to come out of this zombie apocalypse. To your point, Jenny, about everybody who played apathetic and like contortionists fit themselves into this moment, to come back out after all these years of silence, to say you had a voice, it's going to be rough. For me, I'm keeping courage and confidence in the bag all year because our children won't forget it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like the both of you, I've watched as agency after corporation, after law firm, after school, after, you know, all of these organizations have capitulated in so many ways every day. Um, Congress, the Supreme Court, um, everyone, everyone who was supposed to be a check or balance has folded. And it's been so hard to watch. You know, I do think a general strike is coming. I think one is around the corner, and hopefully folks will find their courage to do so, to disengage from their, excuse me, places of work for something greater than themselves. I think for me, what's not in the backpacks this year is something a little lighter, and that's iPhones or phones. Sorry for the Android people out in the world. But a lot of school districts, a lot of schools have banned phones from, the school day, from kids having them throughout the day. We could do a whole pod about the pros and cons of said policies. I think it's an interesting rollback in our dependency on technology and social media, et cetera. I think that I understand what schools are going for: more socialization, more, connecting with their peers and being focused during class. I get all that. And I hope that the communities that have implemented these policies find that it is changing their student bodies. I'm going to be curious to see on the other end of this what the data shows us after this school year is done, after this pilot year is over. I know sometimes it's hard for me to put my phone down, but it's been at the top of my mind for many reasons lately. So yeah, I just think a lot of kids don't have their phones with them this year. And I think it's an interesting shift. It's an interesting shift. What I will add, though, is what I wish was in more children's book bags given this year and all of what we just talked about is tags. And for those who don't know, an air tag is just looks like a little keychain, little circle that you put inside like a little secret pocket or on your keychain or whatever, so that you can keep track of it if you lose it. Xavier, unbeknownst to him, has one in his backpack because of, the environment we find ourselves living in.
That's actually one of the things I struggle with around the cell phones is because you can get a really cheap cell phone and throw it in your kid's bag and use it to track them. But to have an Apple account and AirTag, and that's a certain level of like having access to things that not everyone has. So yeah, but we're not going to have the phone podcast now. So
No,
that's a different episode.
it sure is. God. And how you get stranded. So, what do you guys think? What do you wish was in that's something that's missing besides food, right? We covered those. What would you put in a backpack if you could?
We talk a lot about students, and we should. There's some things I wish that were in teachers' backpack. In support of the profession, it's a really difficult time to be a teacher. The balance of wanting to do the right thing and say the right thing and talking literally into a live mic whose surveillance reach you don't know every day is incredibly difficult. I wish that joy was in their bag. Joy for the art of teaching, joy for the ability to reach young people and be in community with young people every day. I wish for my colleagues a fervent hope and prayer that they can get some joy in their bag. For teachers in particular, when everything is crazy in the world, even when everything's crazy in the building, their classroom, the four walls of their classroom can be their world. And just for the frozen moments they have during the school day, during this school year, I'm hoping they can retain the joy and revisit the beautiful artistry that is teaching. And for me, though it has its bounds of being draining, few things are more life-giving than the profession of educating and being with young people, particularly in that K-12 space. Though I hear college students are great, I wish joy for my colleagues in their bag.
I appreciate that, Lawrence, because one of the first things I thought of was administrators. And there are teachers who have already lost their jobs over the events of this past week. And for simply in their own personal time, making a statement that is not untrue, that is often quotes, and that centers the safety of young people. And so I am really hoping that administrators who have the ability and have the decision-making power, I'm going to use your words, also have the courage in their backpack to do what is right. Because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of power that teachers wield outside those four walls, but there's a whole lot of people that can take care of them and the communities around them. And so I am really hoping that those administrators have a big old shield in their bag. I'm talking Marvel superhero size to protect the people who are in the spaces, regardless of everything, doing this magical work of teaching.
Yeah. It's hard out there for a pimp right now. I'm trying to tell you. It really is. I think I texted that to Lawrence the other day. It's like, it's hard out here for me. He's like, yeah, no. I know.
You talk about having friends with contextual relationships, right? Because I was like, "Hey, mom, can you read this text from Melina? She says it's hard out there for mom. It's hard out there for a consultant. No, she said pimp. Yeah, but it's like a euphemism, mom. You know what, mom? You don't get us
Forget it.
kids. Yeah, you don't get us kids.
Like, exactly. Facts. I'm sure you both knew I was going to do this. I want to hold space for a read, because we should say the names of the people that we want to put love out in the world for and want to hold in the light, as my friend school folks would say, instead of the people who have caused so much harm and hate and don't deserve our airwaves, our clickbait, or even, their names to come out our mouth. But someone who does deserve our acknowledgement and a moment is Troy Reed. For those who don't know, this week was found on the campus of Delta State University in Mississippi, hanging from a tree. The police quickly ruled out foul play, but now the family has hired Attorney Crump as their attorney. They are getting a secondary autopsy, and it seems that the university and the police department are taking this much more seriously now. There are a lot of rumors that Troy Reed's legs were broken while he was, when he was found, and that there was even a rumor that he was initially found dead in his dorm room, not hanging from the tree. So I say all that to kind of bring us full circle here about thinking about our students, thinking about our administrators, thinking about our professors/teachers, and the minefield of whether it be gun violence or this type of violence that they're navigating this year. And, we all send love to, Third Rail Podcast sends love to Troy Reed's family, and all of those who loved him. I always think of college campuses as like places of protest, standing up for, what's right. You're like at a ripe age where you can like feel all the things and stand up for whatever. What do you think college campuses look and feel like this year, given how this school year has started for college students?
The word that is my vernacular in this is idealistic, right? This age group from 17 to 25, you think you can change the world.
Mm-hmm.
and you believe it, and I want to believe in them. The college campus feeling, I think, is going to be different. And so much of what we already talked about is that. But I think there's also this piece where the young people I work with look at the world and they're like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like this is a group that many of them read The Crucible and learned about McCarthyism in high school, right? Like, y'all teachers, get on that. 10th grade, let's go. But they grew up reading dystopian literature about what to do when the government violates the humanity, lives, and rights of people, whether we're talking about the Hunger Games, right? Or, there's this whole set of stuff that they grew up immersed in. And I do think there's a large group of them that are going to find each other on these college campuses in a way you might not in high school. And I think that's a really beautiful, powerful thing that I want to believe in. I also know that there's bullies, and I've been sitting on a college campus, and this is not meant to be stereotypical, but when the big truck runs by with the American flag and they stop and they spin your wheels out in front of you, that's really scary. And so I think that there is going to be an amygdala activation 24/7 for some of these folks. But I think if they can find each other, there's a spark of hope and joy in my life for them.
I love that, Jenny. It does make me sad. I think about a certain kind of innocence lost, particularly undergraduate students. My daughter's 23, and she still looks like a kid to me. 17 and 18-year-olds, yeah, I get it. I'm unk age, I got it. But like they're babies. And it doesn't mean perfectly innocent. I'm not saying that. But all of us have gone off to college expecting certain things to happen. And there are certain things happening now that certainly should never happen. Even going back for a second to Troy Reed, I don't know if anybody noticed, it's September, beginning of the school year. There's no crescendo in a relationship that developed, or a relationship that's gone awry, or a mental illness that spiked. It's September. And they probably went back to school in August because it's in the South. And now you have to go the rest of the year with this mark of Cain on the school year, much less mass shootings, much less any of it. This new normal is not only something I fear that's going to take their innocence. Ginny, to your point, I think they will find, I hope they'll find community in one another. And next, what I hope they do is what I don't think we're prepared for. They're going to lock us out. You didn't have any suggestions. You didn't stand up for anything. The work that you wouldn't put in, we will. And we'll reap the benefits of our own work. Good work, young people.
For real. I love that because I too am still idealistic in the sense that I still believe in my heart of hearts that I can change the world, even if it's just my itty bitty little corner, even if it's just in the way I raise my kid. I am still very optimistic about that. And I want to be hopeful towards all of the college kids on campuses this year. And, protest till your eyeballs fall out. Scream to the rooftops because they can't all do what Columbia did. And I'm going to talk a little bit of trash about Columbia because that's my alma mater. But they can't all suspend you. They count on your tuition dollars. They can't get rid of you. Not if you all walk out. Not if you all are like, you know what, this is it. Y'all, this is too much BS even for us. And I am hopeful that that is what happens this year. I'm going to keep manifesting that for our young people, for sure.
I do want to join you in giving that shout out to young people. And to your point, Lawrence, what you said. And I hope that we're learning from them. And I think, there's a whole subset of young people here in New Hampshire who started a Discord. And Discord is a server that's usually used for gaming. And little known fact that I'm a gamer, so I'm going to get a Discord. And the youth I work with are like, ooh, yep, me. But they have these tools that we don't know about that they're using. And so I hope we also learn from them because our ideas didn't work.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But I mentor some college kids, and I know all three of us do on the screen, and I know we have a soft spot for them. Um, and the kids we mentor are probably kick ass. I know they are because they have found us and we have found them. And I don't know about you, but like I learn from mine every time, I talk to them. I'm like, oh, oh, oh. Or I'm like, no, don't do that. Please stop. But I mean, we all love on, college kids. We all know them in real life. We're not just like talking out of our behinds. We put in the work, these three people you see on your screen. So I just want to shout out to the work that we do that no one knows about, that no one ever hears about. And that is, changing the world one kid, one leader, one college kid at a time. So I'm grateful to be here again with all y'all doing the work, not wallowing in apathy or all of the things we could be doing. But yeah, thanks. That's all I had for today, guys.
Y'all are amazing. Glad to be back to school. Glad to be with y'all.
Second season. Let's
Yeah.
go. I hope
Let's do-
everyone's ready because y'all, we got plans.
Yeah, we do.
Got plans.
Yeah,
So
we do.
we're back at school. We're taking you to school. We might drive the bus. Like, I hope everyone's ready.
That's right.
No more driving for you, Jen.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that later.
And wait, I want to know, what was the highlight of your summers? What was your, I forgot to ask. Come on.
Family reunion in New Orleans. I did my first Black tour of New Orleans. It was actually a sponsored bus with the gentleman that does tours, and heartbreaking. Got to see all of the wards that were impacted by Katrina and learn the real stories. This was before the recent documentary came out, and enlightened but almost ashamed. I've been to New Orleans like 10 times before, but I'd never been to New Orleans like this. So great to see family, but in many ways I felt like I was in New Orleans the first time.
Mine's a trip down south too. I got to go to Texas, celebrate my sister-in-law's 50th birthday, surprise her. Got to see my nieces and nephews, and we've got a new great nephew. We great over here.
Ooh, okay, great. Okay, greatness.
In this world, and I think that there's something really special, and I don't get to do that often. So that was really nice. And of course, we were in Texas, so then we went to Dallas and saw Paige Buckers play at the Dallas Wings. Because if y'all thought I wasn't going to talk about the WNBA before we got off here, just cool down.
Hey, that's the Paige Buckets Rookie of the Year.
Yep, that's right.
And her girl is a baddie. What is that about? AZ Fudd? Okay.
Yeah. Lawrence, I love your new algorithm.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Mine was, I've told you both, Puerto Rico. I went to Puerto Rico. I go to Puerto Rico once a year. And I went and saw La Residencia
See?
de Bad Bunny at El Choli in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And it was fire. It was the closest to a spiritual experience I have had in maybe my whole life. It felt like a homecoming of sorts. And I was really blessed to be there with my kid, my sister, for the first time, screaming our heads off for 3.5 hours. It was wonderful.
Next episode, she'll tell you about Turks and Caicos.
Oh, God.
She got a one-way ticket to Survivor and almost didn't come back. We almost lost the homie.
Yes, you did.
All right, y'all. I'm going to run. Appreciate y'all.
All right.